propaganda mechanics and others do, you know, the BBC and others, Discovery Channel. But the New York Times and the New York Press attack conspiracy theorists of the New World Order film. The New York Times and New York Press attempted to attack and ridicule Alex Jones and other ranting conspiracy theorists like Luke Rudkowski in the latest documentary New World Order. And that actually did premiere last night on the IFC network. I've got these articles up. I ain't even got time to get into it all. Russia Today covered the New World Order movie in the Bilderberg group. And this is what they had to say.
The New World Order.
We know who you are, scum!
What is it?
The New World Order is a global crime syndicate established by the ruling elite, the richest people in the world, the 1% that controls over 80% of the world's wealth. These are the people who want to set up a one-world government so they can have more power in less people's hands.
The New World Order is also a controversial new film that goes behind the scenes of the American anti-globalization movement. It's a documentary focusing on those fighting what they claim is a secret group of a wealthy elite which effectively runs the world. Luke Rudkowski is one of those who says he is a fighter for truth.
We're not crazy people, we're people who just want the truth from our government, and it shows our struggle to get the message out to the American people, and it also shows our success, how we've been right all this time and how we're getting more and more popular.
Radio talk show host Alex Jones is the main character in the film. RT got in touch with him.
Yes, the hottest thing in the world right now is the people discovering world government, discovering the New World Order. I mean, finally the Associated Press and other major U.S. newspapers and British papers had to admit that global elites are meeting in secret to chart the future of the world. Now, it's not just the enemy of people in other nations, it is the enemy of all free humanity.
Alex Jones and Luke Rudkowski are often criticized and labeled conspiracy theorists. The film itself also got a dose of criticism.
Tiresome, tedious documentary, paranoid and delusional, just some of the reactions of the New York Times to the film. But all publicity is good publicity, and the fact of the matter is that even the mainstream is now paying attention and reacting to talk about the New World Order.
Andrew Neil and Luke Mayer, the directors, both say they sought to remain objective and independent from the claims made in the film and be as fair as possible.
And what we really wanted people to do is just to see these people as human beings, listen to what they were saying, and interpret that for themselves.
Here's a group of people who are just not willing to accept the status quo, what the generally accepted story is, and you know, I think myself and Andrew as well have a strong interest in hearing about people who are willing to take that jump.
The people featured in the film say it'll bring the truth about the New World Order one step closer to being understood by the American public and the world. Anastasia Churkina, RT, New York.
And speaking of the Bilderberg group, they did meet last week in Greece. Reporters were held miles away. They were arrested, harassed, followed, detained. The leaked agenda is the Bilderberg Group plans economic depression, which we already suspected. Daniel Estalon reported on this. I've got that report up with a ton of links inside the links to document it. Intrepid Bilderberg investigator and reporter Jim Tucker of the American Free Press confirmed that U.S. Secretary of Treasury Timothy Geithner will attend this year's Bilderberg meeting in Athens, Greece. And then I've got Geithner to take orders from the global elite at Bilderberg. It is confirmed that he did attend Bilderberg. He's in violation of the Logan Act. He should be arrested for a felony. World Bank President Robert Zoellick was there. The list goes on and on. Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke, and all the regulars like Henry Kissinger and David Rockefeller, the Queen Beatrice. Another established news site confirms Obama officials did attend Bilderberg 2009. Politico has reported on a handful of Obama administration officials who were in attendance at this year's Bilderberg meeting in Greece. James Steinberg, Richard Holbrooke gave presentations on foreign policy, while Paul Volcker addressed economic issues at the elitist confab. James Steinberg is the Department of Secretary of State. He's a member of the Council on Foreign Relations and Trilateral Commission. I mean, these guys are all involved in the CFR, Trilateral Commission, Rockefeller groups. Rockefeller is an honorary life director of the CFR, founder of the Trilateral Commission, and founding member, life member, and member of the steering committee of the Bilderberg Group. This is the New World Order. This is the global elite. This is where they set plans. And they say, well, you know, so what they're getting together? Yeah, well, they get together, 100 and some odd of the richest and most powerful people in the world, and no mainstream media reports on it? Come on, give me a break. The security that they have, and not only that, the leaked agendas pan out year after year after year. Bilderberg attendee Obama officials gave briefings at the secret elite confab. Behind closed doors, gathering throws up multiple potential violations of the Logan Act. Politico actually has been reporting on the Bilderbergers, and that's a good thing. But is it more conditioning? Are we going to be trained to think that these Bilderbergers are good and they're protecting us? Tucker from Greece, Bilderbergers own President Obama. Bilderberger luminaries all appeared grim-faced as they stepped from their limbos on the grounds of the Nasifiriaster Palace Hotel in Greece. They arrived, it's right outside of Athens, escorted by police with sirens blaring, the world economy, and the top of the Bilderberg agenda. Bilderberg will debate how to exploit the global recession and fabrications about swine flu to advance its world government goals. Bilderberg's agenda has expanded even as public awareness has grown. So the more of us who become aware of the Bilderbergs and what they're doing and the evil that they project, the more and more they're stepping up their game themselves, their plans. This is just incredible. They want to create the world currency. They want a global Department of Health and global treasury. Now, the global Department of Health has everything to do with them exploiting these swine flu occurrences, which have been manufactured in labs by man. This is not a natural occurrence. They said that we better be prepared come fall for a pandemic. I got a video up. Bilderbergers Club's plan. Alex Jones was on Russian Today talking about this. I've got an excellent article up about the New World Order in their own words. And this talks about UNESCO, how it's the brainwashing division of the UN, how they want it. There's a need for a worldwide education system so that they can control history. They can decide what is reality and what is not reality. And in terms, they're creating their reality for you. And this is a huge article. Please get up there and read this. And if you don't know much about the Bilderbergs, or you think this is a really crazy, wacky conspiracy theory, it's not. Please educate yourself about Bilderberg and about their plans for world government. And you'll see that I'm not exaggerating the least bit. In fact, it's far worse than I can even report, really. Washington Post reported there's threats to judges and the prosecutors are soaring. Worried court personnel resort to guards, identity shields, and weapons. I mean, as we see corruption escalate, we're going to see threats to judges and prosecutors soaring. They're involved in racketeering, okay? That's all there is to it. Whether it's the eugenic courts, which are called the family courts now, totally running unconstitutionally, snatching people's kids. That's why over at you got to see Senator Schaefer exposure of the CPS child trafficking. I mean, this is incredible what's going on. They're just snatching people's kids right out from underneath them. And I agree when she says that that's worse than encountering a death. These foster care systems, and I grew up from age 12 to 16 in the system, in the foster care system, reform school, detention centers, group homes, and all of that. And I can totally attest for the fact that what she was talking about, it's even worse. It's even worse than anybody can really imagine. It really is. Sexual abuse, physical abuse, and even worse was the mental abuse. CPS is another branch of the government that needs to be disposed of. We don't need all this government control. Back in the days, the communities took care of themselves. They took care of people who were homeless. They took care of people who were hungry. They took care of people who needed counsel. The local churches, local groups. We don't need federal control. Not only will that decrease our taxes and help get our economy back on track, it will eliminate a lot of corruption. I don't know if corruption could ever be eliminated, but it can eliminate a lot.